Games. They come in various shapes and sizes. Small, big, interesting ones, less interesting ones, interactive ones, or ones that just feel like interactive movies. Boring, I know. The point is, video games create a sense of interaction. The player controls the character, and subsequently, the action the character makes along the story of a game. The ultimate goal of a game lies on its fun factor. That is to say that a game must be entertaining for it to succeed. But some games have a second deeper characteristic that makes them even more engaging. This mechanic is called rhetorical game procedure. Rhetorical game procedure. The hell is that? Is a question that might have popped out in some of your brains. Well, my very naive and loyal viewer, I hope. Game rhetorics or rhetorical game procedure is the backbone of most action-adventure video games. If it weren't for this mechanic, games would be less overall pleasing. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Shut up, Dumpy! Not everything's about you, you egotistical mammal. Ugh, whatever, let's move on. As I was saying, game rhetorics are based around learning. It is a simple and general concept, and due to its simplicity, it can be applied in a broad array of situations in the context of video games. Furthermore, game rhetorics can help us understand a tough situation by applying what you learned in the seemingly impossible situation. Well, now that I have explained the general concept, let me give you some more punctual examples. The concept of video game rhetorics is prominent in the tutorial section, which most video games have at the start of the game. They serve the purpose of teaching you the bare basics of a game, introducing you to the main character and the story they'll follow. On a secondary note comes the usual gameplay, where you learn the rest of the game's mechanics and special characteristics. Through the game, you'll use what you learn in your many hours of playing the game to overcome the challenges the games put you through. Finally, games also make use of the video game rhetoric to create compelling challenges like bosses or puzzles that are integral to the story. The creation of challenges stems from the satisfactory feeling of overcoming a seemingly difficult task with previous knowledge. A wonderful example of these applications and the concept itself is Dark Souls. Dark Souls is like the love of your life. Beautiful, intellectual, has a striking personality, and her stories are intriguing yet incoherent at times. There is only one problem with her. Every 5 to 10 minutes, she punches you in the face for no apparent reason at all, and just makes as if nothing happened. To put it simply, Dark Souls is hard. It is currently considered one of the hardest games of the decade. Its challenges are brutal and unforgiving most of the times, but if something is giving you the boot, stick to the basics. But sometimes video game developers can go buck wild with this concept and the game ends up spoon-feeding you like a baby, which is pretty cute and nice at the start, but it gets tiring after a few hours of it. Video game rhetorics not only have an effect on video game enjoyment, they also act as a learning tool for real-life experiences. And before you start pestering me in the comments like, actually, playing Minecraft does not make you an architect. Of course it doesn't. I'm not that gullible. All I'm saying is that things you learn in the video game world might be useful in the real world. In some very specific situations, I might say. To exemplify this, I have dived deep into the internet and found two very interesting news articles. By dive deep, I mean a quick 5-minute search. Both of these stories relate to skills acquired in the video game world, which aided the players in the real-life situation. Okay, imagine this. It's a cool evening in Norway. It's the perfect weather for taking a stroll through the woods, thought 12-year-old Hans Jørgen Olsen, who encountered a moose in the middle of a stroll through the woods with his little sister. He sprang into action and remembered his time spent playing World of Warcraft. He taunted the moose and attracted his attention, a basic skill in World of Warcraft. The moose turned to him and he used another video game staple skill, Play Dead. And as ridiculous as it sounds, it worked. Hans and his sister managed to escape unharmed. All of this because of Hans' quick wits and video game experience. Another case takes us to Mexico, where Enzo Bonito, an avid video game player who had diligently trained in a state-of-the-art simulation, beat an ex-World Formula 1 champion in a real race. This comes to show that skills acquired in a video game setting can be used to a certain extent in the real world.
Yeah, okay, but how do you support this? What are your sources?
Ugh, you're so annoying. Shut up. Fine, I'll tell you. There is a text called Rhetoric in Video Games. In it, the author, Ian Bogost, says, in real life, when we pay our mortgage bill, we don't see where that money ends up. But in Animal Crossing, the player experiences the way his debt makes the bankers wealthy. After a player makes a major investment to his mortgage, Tom Nook closes his shop and upgrades it. This quote exemplifies very well how concepts learned in a video game setting can set up a thought process which carries over to the real world, helping us make sense out of certain activities or processes we lacked knowledge on. In a similar manner, there are also various didactic games which take the concept of video game rhetorics to its utmost limits, by having a gameplay solely based around learning and using previous knowledge, like coolmathgames.com, which bases its website around math and logic-centered games to improve your cognitive responses and wake your brain up. So, to sum everything up, video game rhetoric is a broad concept that goes from learning things to help your gameplay to using video game skills in the real world. It can be very useful, but in the wrong hands it might become monotonous and boring. Well, that's all I had to talk about for today, folks, so if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe because there will be plenty of more videos on the way. Stay tuned and peace out.